परकाल दुखाल खोयाले मन खायले आपन माथा अवतार सार गौरावतार केन न भजिली तारे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री गौरांग महाप्रभु की, लोचनदास ठाकुर की। ओम भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 14. सर्वकालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यद् अप्रियं सपालो यद्वचे लोको वायोरिव घनावली सर्वकालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वचे लोको वायोरिव घनावली सर्वकालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव घनावली सर्वं कालं कृतं भवतां च यदप्रियं यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव घनावली सर्वकाल सफलो यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव घनावली सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव घनावली। माताजी, सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव घनावली सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव घनावली. Word to word meaning: Sarvam, all this. Kalakrutam, done by inevitable time. Manne, I think. Bhavatam cha, for you also. Yat, whatever. Apriyam, detestable. Sala, with the rulers. Yadvache, under the control of the time. Loka, everyone in every planet. Vayo, the wind carries. Eva, as Ghanavali, a line of clouds. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. In my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time, under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind. Purport. There is control by time all over the space within the universe, as there is control by time all over the planets. All the big gigantic planets, including the sun, are being controlled by the force of air, as the clouds are carried by the force of air. Similarly, the inevitable Kal or time controls even the action of the air and other elements. Everything, therefore, is controlled by the supreme Kal, a forceful representative of the Lord within the material world. Thus, Yudhishthira should not be sorry for the inconceivable action of time. Everyone has to bear the actions and reaction of time as long as one is within the conditions of the material world. Yudhishthira should not think that he had committed sins in his previous birth and is suffering the consequences. Even the most pious has to suffer the condition of material nature. But a pious man is faithful to the Lord, for he is guided by the bona fide Brahmana and Vaishnava, following the religious principles. These three guiding principles should be the aim of life. One should not be disturbed by the tricks of eternal time. Even the great controller of the universe, Brahmaji, is also under the control of that time. Therefore, one should not grudge being thus controlled by time despite being a true follower of religious principles. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagarajatan Sahagana Raghunatam Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Nitam Cha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pachaddesh Tarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratuse Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Rundavaneshwari Rushabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas to speak on this subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Bhishmadev, the one of the Mahajana, is speaking on as consoling the Yudhishthir Maharaj. So various aspects Prabhupada covers in this shloka, and mainly he talks about the Kal. And generally when we speak time, then it doesn't feel little different, but we'll say Kal. तो कुछ अलग ही लगता है. But then Prabhupada is also telling that it is forceful representation of Lord. So we actually should feel that Kal is really something which we have to be alert for. So I remember in some 4, 5, 6 years back, we went to Ajmer Fort, and it's Amer Fort in Ajmer, sorry, Jaipur, sorry. So there, it was like very big arrangement, to the extent that on the top, on those days, they had a kind of AC system. So they made like from the stone carving, they had made some kind of a net, and one side of the that fort there was very different water. I mean, that water was having some effect, and from that water air was coming, and that kind of arrangement was done. Even for the water, drinking water, they had a very particular arrangement on other side of the lake, on the other side of the fort. So everybody is mesmerized, and below there, the museum also, people are every time coming and taking photos. And different people take different lessons. So, but when devotees went, so they were telling that this is the power of time. That some point of time, this person was so famous, for him so much arrangement was done. Specifically, 4, 5 people were engaged just to give drinking water to him. So, but now where is that person? Another wonderful incident in Prabhupada, that when Prabhupada met Mr. Ford, our Amrish Prabhu, so one question he asked, where is Mr. Ford now? And that was having such an impact on Prabhuji's life, that we can see wonderful Samadhi, Prabhupada Samadhi, and so many things he has built. So even if a person is doing so much in the course of time, after some years everything is gone. And wonderful archaeological department and so many things people make, and they find so many lessons, but they cannot take out simple lesson that, array, where is this person now? So what we should do for the life? So this forceful representation of time of Lord, what Prabhupada is saying, that is being understood, that is also understood by many people. Like in Journey Home, Maharaj says that how he was having a uh, that on Ashwamedh Ghat, they used to sit with many sadhus, just watching for the how these people's skin. First of all, he narrates that wonderful sequence, how the skin and then ears, people's ears are getting burned, and that tells that how this material life is so temporary. One place is only Saranath Maharaj gives the example that this material world is like bubbles forming on the in the ocean or like various places. And he said that people in cities, they cannot see the bubbles nicely, wonderful nature they cannot see, so they can see in gutter. In gutter sometimes bubbles forms, sometimes they are there and then they are gone. So this time has specific effect. In one of the lecture, Karnataka was saying that समय चुपचाप आदमी को बूढ़ा बना देता है. So, and so much anxiety in old age, suffering, but that is never pursued in youthful time. Chanakya Pandit so nicely warms us that Ayusham Shanayopeki ya Shana Ekopi Nalavet Swarna Kotibi. Even if we give millions of dollars, we cannot get back the time. So it's like now is 7,539. So whatever amount of money, whatever you give, but we cannot get back that 7,539 because we all are under the control of Kala. Yudhishthir Maharaj, our Vidura tells, Narad Muni tells Yudhishthir Maharaj that you don't worry that, okay, I am not able to control, I am not able to protect Dhritarashtra and his wife. Then he was telling that Kala Karma Gunadino Dehoyam Panchabhautika Katham Anyatu Gopayet Sarpagrasta Yathaparam. You yourself is like sometimes we see the frog is trying to catch some insect, but already that frog himself is in the mouth of snake. So katham anyatu gopayat, how you will protect other when you are under the mouth of snake. So we may not be under in the mouth of snake, but we all are actually grasped by the kala sarpa because that kala sarpa is eating us. In 30th chapter of the third canto, Kapil Muni also explains about how the effect of time works. And Prabhupada in purports very nicely tells that how people are trying to do so many things, but they themselves are under the grief. People thinking that by economic development we will become happy. We are trying to bring out or make so many different things that will take away from situation, away from the conditioning. People put extra conditions in life by their own arrangement. So real knowledge is when we understand that how we are created and destroyed. To just tell this effect of time in 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and also various places, whenever there is explanation that how Maya works, what is Krishna's Maya, like this question comes in 2-3 places in Bhagavatam and even in 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So what is this material world? What is this illusion is about? In answer to those questions, it is tell that how the creation happens and devastation happens. So everything is so nicely controlled by time that people are unaware that how the effects are happening, how the changes are happening. Prabhupada gives example of that, I think different pictures are running very fast. We all might have studied in that how in less than the 1/10 of the second, if the pictures are moved, then we can't understand that how the next things are coming in place. So similarly, many things are going away from our hands. Practically, they are snatched by the effect of time, but we can't perceive it by the wonderful arrangement of the Lord. And that is why devotee thinks that a use of time is in serving Krishna, in whatever best use of bad bargain we can do with this material body, we have to do. But when we give that time, people thinks that, okay, why they are spending so much time? If you tell somebody, okay, morning we spend 2 hours just sitting at one place and chanting, then it is very difficult for them to conceive. Even initially, all of you might have experienced that. Even if you tell people, at least chant 1 round, oh, 10 minutes. He has a big question mark on his face, when I will spend this 10 minutes. So Prabhupada used to say that, Prabhupada says in one of the lecture, that people think we are crazy and devotee think that they are crazy. So both think that others are crazy. But we we know that others are crazy. People think that we are crazy. So they don't know that how the time is working on them. Maya is taking away their time. In 11th chapter of the third canto, there is complete explanation that how from the Paramanu, the time scale is so big time scale as explained that from the time it takes to cross one atom, that much smaller unit, to the time it takes for the planets to move. Matlab, a planet, a big planet, how much time it takes to move in its orbit for the particular distance. So just like the distance has been calculated from smallest to the biggest scale, similarly time is also uh, scaled. Like this Pariksha Sukdev Goswami says in first 3-4 shlokas of 11th chapter of third canto. In terms of, we also calculate time. In calculate time, we calculate even how much time it takes for chanting one round. So Prabhupada's very nice quote is there, which was there in Prabhupada's room, that don't means one devotee actually I was asking that, Prabhupada, how much time it should take to chant? So Prabhupada said that don't worry about how much time it takes, but you try to chant attentively, and then slowly slowly it will, it may take lesser time, or even it may not take the, but attention should be on hearing the holy name. Yeah. So in later part of the purport, Prabhupada said that we should worry whether I am following dharma vipra achyuta. Are we taking the shelter of religious principles, saintly personalities, and Lord? So when we pass our time following their instruction, then we are not afraid of. The Prabhupada used to give this famous example that how the cat, when she's catching a kitten, that time the kitten is completely unafraid, rather she enjoys. But when at same mouth, if we see the rat, then he's so fearful. So similarly, when we are under the clutches of a time, when we are not passing our time in engaging in Krishna consciousness, then we will be fearful. Otherwise, if we are following the instruction of Dharma, Vipra, and Achyuta, then we are not fearful. And that is why it is very safe in any cross section of our life when we see that I am following these religious principles or some authority, specifically the guidance we receive from our spiritual mentors, that they, when we any time of our life when we check, and if we are seeing that okay, this time I followed I followed my authority, then we will be completely safe, then we need not to be worried about. Or we can, or some another situation comes when we think okay, what we should do, we have a question that okay, what should be done, then simply by understanding that what my superiors would have done in this particular situation, then we will be in safe hands. Otherwise, people generally think about okay, what is for myself. Actually, they don't know what is self. 2 days before, Pankaj Prabhu was telling about the selfishness and selflessness. People selfishness is center is with the understanding that self means body. Prabhupada says that nate vidu swartha gatimi Vishnu. He said that people don't know that what is the self. If they know the self, then they will understand that being really selfish, they will become selfless. Because self self can be satisfied when we are selfless. And to become selfless, to give out to other, we have to become selfish. In terms of doing our sadhana, if we ourselves are not nourished, what we will give to others? So by seeing this bigger benefit, as Shri Gopal Prabhu was telling, then we can go on in life being selfish spiritually for our own spiritual life, and then we can be real selfless. And that real self interest, when we understand, then we can tolerate the situations. uh, last time when His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj came to Pune, that time he was telling that sometimes people feel, oh, so much I have to do for spirituality. But it is not so much. But why we feel so much? So he was giving example that suppose there is some one house or very very big thing we are getting, and its actual cost is in billions, suppose 200 billions. But now it is available in only 1 lakh rupees. But still we feel it is so much. Why? Because we have only 1000 rupees. So we feel okay, 1 lakh is too much. But if we compare that how in very easily we are getting it, then we will strive for it. Like sometimes this now mobile phones are coming. It's very costly. But when they just pull it in sale, okay, now you are getting in 70% discount. Then even if that person don't have ability, he will somehow manage the money and he will take it. Why? He will feel, okay, I'm getting in very less price. But many times they don't need that phone. That's why they take it. But in case of spirituality, actually we need it. We can't become happy without that. So our case is not like that 70% discount. It's too much actually. But while going on the spiritual part, we get sidetracked by puja labh pratishtha. Today morning, Balavan was reading that how these are the weeds. So when we know how harmful they are, then we will not pay heed to these weeds, because we know what is our need. Our need is spiritual greed, because that is only can make us our spiritual progress rapid. Otherwise we will be crushed under ego stampede. So wonderful example of spiritual personalities like Lochandas Thakur is like inspiration for all of us, that how they lived life. We also feel sometimes, okay, Prabhupada was there, Prabhupada, somehow we could not meet Prabhupada. I was speaking 2 days before to our Rajnath Singh Pro. He was telling that just the time Prabhupada started this movement, he had to go to for war, and somehow I missed. Otherwise, I could have met Prabhupada. So like that he was telling. So similar case happened in terms of Lochandas Thakur. He not similar, but 30 years before, around 30 years before, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, means he came after 30 years, means like that. So because today is a wonderful day, and we should, by discussing about the spiritual personalities, we get their blessings. So I would like to discuss a little bit about Lochandas Thakur today. So as Chaitanya Charitamrita says in the beginning that Eka Bhagavata Bada Bhagavata Shastra, Ara Bhagavata Bhakti Rasa Patra. So there are two kind of Bhagavat. One is book Bhagavat and person Bhagavat. So we may feel some encouragement by reading Bhagavatam. Of course, we should feel little more also. But this person Bhagavat, they are quite influential in Nectar of Devotion. There is something called, I forgot the term. Just by coming in the presence of the spiritual personalities, we get lot of, ऐसा लगता है कि अभी हम प्योर ड्यूटी बन गए. Like that we feel. So those kind of small inspiration, they take us very close to our real goal. And that is why many times Radhesham Prabhu was saying that whenever some very Maharajas or big personalities comes, it is always nice, even if many big terms we may not understand also, but it is very good for new people also to come in their contact. And also for us, by understanding and knowing about different aspects of their life, our spiritual journey becomes very easy. Otherwise, we feel, oh, so many thorns in my path of spiritual life, like that. So, and that also gives us, to the extent that our Narottam Das Thakur said that Gaurangera Sangigane Nitya Siddha Karimani Se Jaya Brajendra Sutapant. So simply by understanding that associate of Lord Gauranga, we become free from this material contamination. That how they were, how they came, how they stayed in this material world. So Lochandas Thakur, he was as our mm, Ganodesh Deepika, what is it? Gaud Ganodesh Deepika. He gives that different connection that who are these personalities in Krishna pastime. So he was Saki, one of the Saki, Lochandas Thakur. He came in this material world 15 appeared 1523. Some says 30 also. In Kogram village, which is Katwa part of the Bardhavan area. And this place is around 10 miles to on the side of Kushwar, which is near river Ajara. So just like I was explaining that he also could not get the direct association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was the disciple of Narari Sarkar, who was the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His father's name was Kamlakar Das and mother's names of Sadanandi Devidasi. And he was from the doctor's background, physician. And somehow his parents, his other chacha, or what you can say, they were not much many childs. Some said that he was alone. Even for his on maternal side also there was no much nobody as his brothers. So he was very pet child, and many times he used to stay at Mama's house, which was near another place, near Srikanda. And he also was not willing to go to school like all of us. So he had homeschooling. So there was a personality called Purushottam Dutt. So Purushottam was staying very close to his mama's house, we can say. So there he used to go and he learned Sanskrit and other some subjects, some languages. So near Purushottam Dutt's place, this Narari Sarkar was from Srikanda. He used to stay. So because Purushottam Datta used to go to Narari Sarkar, he also developed habit to regularly go and hear from Narari Sarkar. And Narari Sarkar, he was having his deity. His name was Pran Gauranga. So he used to worship the deities and he used to sometimes discuss. And in that ashram near Mother Ganga, so there he used to stay, and our Lochandas Thakur used to also visit quite often. To the extent that later he started staying there only. So many times he was found with Naresh Sarkar. Seeing that spiritual ambience, he was very much inspired. So after some days, then he happened to accept then Naresh Sarkar as a spiritual master, and Naresh Sarkar, he himself was very much willing to write some book on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then he saw that he had learned in Sanskrit and he can write nicely. So then he told that you go to Navadip, learn from the Kadchas of Murari Gupta, who has written about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then you write. And you might be knowing that there are basically three books, very well known three books about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One is Chaitanya Chaitamrut, which is written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, which basically mainly focuses on like Radha Bhav, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited the various symptoms, and also different rasas, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Rasraj. Or he explained how Krishna is having different rasas. Then another book is Chaitanya Bhagavat. Of course, we'll discuss how it was prepared Chaitanya Mangal and then it was known as Chaitanya Bhagavat. So Chaitanya Bhagavat mainly speak about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead and he is also Parameshwar. These two aspects are more discussed in Chaitanya Bhagavat. And Chaitanya Mangal discusses what is not there in these two mainly. Different Leelas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shringar Leela with Vishnu Priya, and also Vira Bhav, like that. It also speaks more about how living entities and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how their relation is. Our Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, he was very fond of Chaitanya Mangal. He actually used to print it and distribute freely to many people. Chaitanya Mangal. And various pastime which we like Maharaj narrates about puppy, that puppy dog, how he got liberated. He came and then he was tied by Sachimata, and then after some time he went and he was showing the symptoms that, you know. And also that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he traveled from Bengal to Odisha while going. Then there was one person with buttermilk, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not having anything to give him return. And then he told, okay, whoever is coming from behind, you take money from them. Like that. So very wonderful pastime. So we can pray to Chaitanya, this Lochandas Thakur, about getting the taste. Because many times it happens that as soon as some devotee is narrating some pastime, and if you know the pastime, we say, ha, Prabhuji, I know, then what is there next? We hardly have some taste for hearing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or any pastimes of Lord. We feel that knowing the pastime is enough, but actually to narrate the pastime or hear the pastime, to have a taste, that actually will replace our taste for the material hankerings. So this Chaitanya Mangal, which was written in Bengali language, it was in Panchali script, a way in which there are different 5 types of kavya is written. Means, matlab it is not in one, what we can say. No, it is like 5 ways the shlokas are written, and then it can be. It is not one chanda, 1 meter. Yeah, and it is very normal for the Bengali. Let's say just like in UP part, like Ramcharit Manas is very like common. People ऐसे उठते बैठते बोलते like that, or Abhangas in Maharashtra, people know it very well. So like that, this Chaitanya Mangal is that. It is basically means for singing only. The complete book is like that only. So because of the desire of spiritual master, not Vrindavan, Lochandas Thakur wanted to write this book. So he wrote the book, and his spiritual master gave name of to him as Chaitanya Mangal. But somehow in Navadip, already Vrindavan Das Thakur had written the book, which was named as Chaitanya Mangal, and many people were knowing it. Many Vaishnavas came to know. Now for Lochandas Thakur, it was not some prestige issue or something like that. Array, I also want to have same book with same title. But just because his spiritual master told, that's why he went to the Navadip and he wanted to show this book to Vrindavan Das Thakur. Now who is Vrindavan Das Thakur? In Chaitanya Charitamrita it says that Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kahe Vedavyas Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavan Das. He is considered as a Vyas for Chaitanya Lila. And to him, we have to go and show, I know you have written some book. I also have written one book and his name is same. So what to do? So it was not a prestige issue actually. It was because my spiritual master wants it. He writes in many Vaishnava songs also that I am the servant of Narari Sarkar. So it was desire of spiritual master. For us, little bit prestige issue. We say quite often, Trunadapi Sunichanya, but when it comes to the practical, it becomes difficult. While staying in Wise Center, once, not many times, morning discussion used to happen. So every day after class, we used to discuss. So many times, Maya Devi, Nidra Devi used to become heavy, but once I heard a nice class, somehow I was not feeling sleepy. So many points I was remembering. And one devotee, one from our group only, he was asking question and I was answering. So that day, somehow I felt, okay, I know. So I was answering and I gave answer also. But somehow the same question, the same answer was there in beginning of the class and end of the class. And it was having different answer. So as soon as he asked question, I gave answer which was in later part of the lecture, and he corrected. No, 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 this is not good. Then it was very purifying to the ego. I could not say that time, but now I could say. So for Lochandas Thakur, he wanted to give this book and show to Vrindavandas Thakur because it was desire of his spiritual master. And then he went and he showed this book. He told, okay, on the order of my spiritual master, I have written this book considering the pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you please see it. You see if there's some correction, you want to say something, or you want to add something like that. And Vrindavan Thakur took the book, and as soon as he opened, name it was given was Chaitanya Mangal. And the same name book he himself had written and published. But still he took it, and as soon as he saw this initial one of the verse in Mangala Charan, the verse goes like this. Abhanna Chaitanya Tanu Thakur Avadut Prathame Nityananda Pade Rahumora Suk. So by reading this shloka, Vrindavan Das Thakur went in ecstasy. And some of his disciples has to come and bring him out of ecstasy. So he was so happy seeing this wonderful glorification of Lord that immediately he said that, oh, very nice book. You take this book, you publish this book as Chaitanya Mangal. And he said that, then he asked, what about previously? Because already published book, can you imagine? The book whose name is already given as Chaitanya Mangal, and it was, some people already have it, this copy. And this is a single copy. It was not published also. But still, seeing the wonderful glorification of the Lord, Vrindavan Das Thakur said that, you please have your book published as Chaitanya Mangal. This way, the book little less access. So I will just narrate. It is having a 4 section with first as Sutra Khanda, Adi Khanda, Madhya Khanda, and Shesh Khanda. Okay. And yeah. So, and as I told previously, it is in like in the way we can it can be sung. So there are other things also about this book we can read. Chaitanya Mangal, I think it's there in our Vaishnava literature. So I try to speak something because today is Lochandas Thakur's appearance day. Appearance or disappearance? Appearance day. So disappearance day, yeah. So we can pray to Lochandas Thakur that we develop some liking for hearing Lord's glories. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear 1,000 times about Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. So we also develop liking, at least for those leelas which we have not heard. Then we can hear it again and again. And I seek blessings of all Vaishnavas that I can hear the more and more Krishna Katha. So thank you all very much for your submissive hearing. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.